All right, we would like to begin by thanking you all for being a part of our Digital Transformation Summit 2021. Welcome to our super exciting session lined up for all of you. I would like to thank our title partner, Accenture, our track partner, Automation Anywhere, cloud communication partner, Root Mobile, knowledge partner, PwC, and bronze partner, Tata Teleservices. I would like to welcome the moderator, Mr. Vineet Jaiswal, Group Chief Digital Officer, JSW Group, and our esteemed panelist, Dr. Guru Prasad Kupurao, Director and Mentor, Leadership Team, Imaginarium India, Mr. Vijay Sethi, Ex-Chief Information Officer and Head HR and CSR, Hero Motorcorp, and Mr. Sudeep Laban, Tech Leader, Waptec Group. I would also request all the delegates to keep posting their questions in the chat box, and the panel will address a selected few at the end of the session. Over to you, Mr. Vineet Jaiswal.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thanks a lot here, I think, and good morning, everyone. I know it's a tough time for all of you, but hopefully you get out something out of this session. I have great eminent speakers today. Before I talk about them, I know this is a session which will give you a understanding and visibility about how exactly IoT uh, is impacting, as well as additive manufacturing is impacting the entire acceleration of digital transformation, right? So when come to the digital transformation, right, there are, if I have to see these two technologies, right, and somebody asked me, okay, where exactly these two technologies impact? Uh, One of them, I think both of them impact the bottom line, and the way they do it is uh, the IoT technologies provides access to the data, which can help taking decisions, and as well as additive manufacturing, making the process faster. Overall, if I have to really summarize, all these things will impact either of the five things, right? First is either increase the throughput in manufacturing. Second is optimize the cost. Third is reduce the defect. Fourth is increase the asset availability, and fifth is safety. So if I have to really think through about this technology and how exactly this will impact, this is the way I see it. So I have a great eminent speakers I know already introduced, but I'm just flashing their profile for all of you to consume it. Uh, so and if in case you have any questions, you can keep typing here at the end. We will take that. The way we will have the discussion today is we will go one by one with all my eminent colleagues out here and talk to them about what they think in this. So let me start with Vijay Sethi. You okay? Uh, what do you think? How is digital transformation progressed over years till now? If I say digital transformation or digitalization, and why digitalization and digital transformation so important for manufacturing? Want to hear a few thoughts from you.
Sure. Thanks, Vineet, and morning, everyone. I echo your sentiments that these are tough times, and each one of us needs to ensure that we, our families, everybody is safe. And wish and pray same for everyone. Now, let's look at the manufacturing sector in India. So, if I look at, let's say, GDP of India is roughly around $3 trillion. And there's a time when government had said that in the ratio of for the proportion of manufacturing sector in this GDP should be around 25% odd. But reality is we are hovering at around 14 or 15% over the last many years, which means that Indian manufacturing sector has been lagging. Also, what I have seen is that over the years, there's been amount of automation which has gone into the manufacturing sector. You spoke about cost, quality, and other things. So what has been happening is that if I look at people put in ERPs and inventory control systems and accounting systems and other something for sales, but they are more internal focus, trying to improve productivity, efficiency within the system, and focusing some bit on safety and quality. But if you look at what has happened over the last 5-7 years, is that there's been huge change in the digital technology landscape in the world. It started with the so-called SCAM, which is the social cloud analytics and mobility, where suddenly these terms came and cloud really became something that people wanted to go in for that. And then came in all other technologies, IoT, as you rightly said. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing has been there for ages, but last 4 or 5 years, it has really picked up in a big way from that perspective. So many other technologies came up, AR, VR, IoT, of course, picked up with sensors now really becoming much cheaper, connectivity really becoming much faster. So which meant that in the manufacturing sector, people wanted to put in more technology. A new term called Industry 4.0, cyber physical systems also came up. So that already put in pressure back on the manufacturing that yes, there has to be digital. But why this? To my mind, the biggest change has been that the customer expectations or what customers and business want has been changing over the last many years. And now customer is at the middle of entire thing rather than organization being at the middle of all the digital technologies. And that's the major change in the digital transformation. So what our people are trying to do today is more based on what the customer wants. So whether it's an augmented reality, whether it's a virtual reality, whether it's IoT systems, 3D printing, they are all now today being focused back on the customer as a centerpiece. Last piece I'll say is that to answer your question as to why it is really becoming very important digital transformation today. To my mind, see what we have seen is various phases of manufacturing sectors and other organizations. This is the time when companies really have to put in digital technologies, not just to increase their profits, top line, bottom line, quality, cost, but more importantly, or maybe most importantly, just to survive. If companies do not go in for digital transformation, many companies will not exist. And we have tons of examples of companies which are leaders in their space, and today they don't even exist. So companies have to go in for digital transformation to survive. Back to you, Vinit.
Thanks, Vijay. I think so. Survival is a key here, and there is no choice here, if I
Absolutely.
understand you. Okay, I think this is good. I think I totally agree with you. I have seen similar thing happening across the industry, everywhere, and I think people understand this is not a choice. This is something everyone has to really work on it. Appreciate. Now, let me come to you, Dr. Prashad, right? Guru Prashad, right? So, I know, I think next two speakers have lot of background around 3D printing. So, what I will do, I will get a lot of knowledge out of both of you guys in that area. So, what is the role of 3D printing in this IoT, IIoT, IOMT? Can you enlighten us with that?
Well, thanks, Vineet, for this wonderful engagement today. And good morning to all of you participants, my industry partners, friends, and expert panel here. Mr. Sethi has already laid out a very nice context to this. And it is very inevitable for all of us, especially in this crisis moment, to get connected with the manufacturing. And that connection is where IoT comes into picture. And 3D printing also is a great player. You take any aspect of manufacturing or technology in future, 3D printing is going to be a part of it, you know. And we at Imaginarium have been doing a lot of work. And today, some of my reflections are a result of such insights, what we got, working on them. And IoT, if you look at IoT, it is a piece of electronics, isn't it? It's a piece of electronics which has got a transmitter and receiver. And it is going about making everything, possible, communicatable. It has got an IP address, we can ping to know, hello, how are you? Are you there? Kind of thing, So in Industry 4.0 and all, we'll come to that later. But if you look at the fundamental, aspect of IoT, it's a piece of electronics for many of us. And this piece of electronics needs a packaging. And IoT itself is undergoing a sea change development. PCBs are becoming increasingly smaller and smaller with the introduction of miniaturization. It is, the SMD to VSLI to whatnot, shooting things into the chips and all. So people have need to change them quite often. So prototyping is one area where 3D printing is going to be a partner for IoT, number one. Number two, people want to deploy IoT everywhere. HVAC control and machine control. How it is done with a lot of sensors which are embedded in the electronics. So human beings are not required. And there is someone to monitor, and it is logged. Data logging is done, and so people are looking at customization as another reason why IoT would like to join hands with 3D printing. You know, and because of this, no, there is a need for low volumes, which will require, for example, people want to toy with the idea, is it good for me or not? So I don't see industry 4.0 will be a revolution. It is going to be a evolution, you know and that evolution will happen in phases, and people want to prototype, then gain confidence, debug, and move forward. And a lot of usability issues, UI UX issues will be there, when it comes to technologies getting paired. So that way also 3D printing is going to play an important role, bringing the avatar, to every IoT possible, and that's where I think would be a great contribution of additive manufacturing or 3D printing or digital fabrication, whatever you call it, is going to play a phenomenal role in giving the avatar, making it tangible, a solution beyond its function, giving its aesthetics, giving it usability, adaptability, and all these things. So these are very important part of the product. I push it back to you, Mr. Vineet.
Thank you, Dr. Guruprasad. So, if I have to really summarize, this is one of the big thing for prototyping and customization, right? This is how the way it will accelerate. Right? I totally agree. I think what I also believe, this is 3D printing is just a start what's happening. Uh, if I have to really think through the power of this technology, right now it is expensive for an ordinary citizen to use it. But remember, the normal printers were expensive earlier, right? Now it has become dirt cheap, and this will happen to this also. So a lot of innovation will come out of this, right? It's a fail fast approach. The best examples will come because of the additive, because of the 3D printing availability for like as a commodity. So, great. So now let me come to you, Steve. Now I know you come from WebTech. I want to understand how WebTech is enabling industrial IoT in the transportation industry for their accelerated outcomes. Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Vinith, and the expert panel here, as well as IAMI for providing me this opportunity. And hello to all my the co-participants here. So Wabtec is a leading global provider of railroad equipment. We also provide digital solutions and value-add services, whether it is freight rail or transit, mining or marine systems. Our expertise, as well as in technologies and people together, we are accelerating the future of transportation. We drive outcomes based on technological advancements so far. We also optimize the management of data that we are all talking about, that enable outcomes for businesses. Now, through as Vijay Sethi sir earlier indicated, this is the need of the hour. So it is like a basic essential a survival strategy that each company should have, right? So what we have done is we understood this very earlier on, and we have created a separate business vertical called digital electronics within Wabtec. Through this, we help railroad shippers, miners, ports, and terminals improve operational efficiency as you already indicated earlier, it's all about operational efficiency ultimately. And we also it gives us a good platform to unlock the productivity and create pathways to automated operations while enabling safer operations. So safety is also one of the important aspect when we are driving these kind of large operations, which involves equipment as well as people together. Now we just celebrated 150th year of anniversary at Wabtec here, stemming from its innovative roots of George Westinghouse as well as Thomas Edison, and we have created innovative solutions in the railroad sector. We are also creating a pivotal role in the rail transportation industry. So now what we have done is at Wabtec, we have combined decades of industrial leadership with cutting edge software and digital and rail electronics technologies together to create an efficient, productive, as well as a reliable rock to dock digital rail and mining ecosystem. So we have created a suite of digital products in our industry. As you said, IoT. So I think IoT everybody are talking about, but here we are talking about industrial IoT. So it's basically double IoT platform. So we have created a platform called EdgeLink, wherein we can actually get all the edge to cloud connectivity on this platform. So we have thousands of assets running in the field for from our railway customers. And what we have done is this IoT platform, it collects all kinds of data, and we customize all the data analytics real time, and also the data processing and optimization. So through this, we are able to actually get very good productivity, very good operational efficiency for our customers. We are also able to optimize the overall asset performance, because these assets are not the tabletop assets. These are like huge assets. We are talking about a complete rail network here, consisting of all kinds of transit customers as well as freight goods moving from one location to another location. And at any point of time, we need to track these assets. We also need to know upfront when the asset is going to go under maintenance, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, as you said, it's like a survival strategy, as well as it also gives us a better platform for data driven decision making. So with this, I will turn it over to you, Vinith.
Great. I think lots happening, and I'm not surprised. In my previous role, I've been part of the organization indirectly, right? I was part of GE, and we were working with transportation, so I remember that all those stuff. One thing which I just want to bring this topic and more on the CPS system. I know Vijay talked about it, right? And a lot of people ask me what has happened, right? These sensors are not new. What has happened? Why this has become big focus of Industry 4.0? Right. So, and what is this CPS system, right? So I think just want to throw some light on that, and especially because it's very relevant to what all you talked about, right? So what has happened earlier, those sensors were standalone, those were at edges. Now there is a power of how the system, how the data is collected, how it is transmitted, and how it is analyzed. The insights are taken together, and once the insights come together, the power of knowledge and the analytics comes in there, and that it helps in predicting when the machine is going to get fail, or the cracks, if I remember, the cracks on the rail tracks, or the driver efficiency, the safety side of it. I think that power has come now. So a lot of people have, what's the difference between the IoT or the sensors which was there and now what is there? Now I think this also helps me to allude to Vijay, right? So Vijay, if I have to ask you, right, what are the 5 things to be kept in mind in a digital transformation journey? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure, Will. Just one comment before what you said. See, all these technologies, whether it is AI, whether it is cloud, whether it's 3D printing, all these are old technologies there for 30, 40, 50 years. But as you rightly said, what has happened over the last few years is that compute capacity has really gone up. The connectivity has gone up, and that's why all these technologies are now coming together to help and change the entire world. Now, coming to the five things, I like that question a lot. So first is, I think a mistake that most of the companies do is when they start on the digital transformation journey, they start with technology in mind, which they would say that, okay, today I have 3D printing, RPA, this IoT, everything. So let me see as to where does it fit into my scheme of things. Whereas the first thing that the companies need to do is start with your business strategy as to what your business strategy is. How do you see your business? Where do you see your customer? Keep customer at the middle of the entire business strategy. And then see how the various technologies can help you. So that's the first thing. So where companies need to also keep one thing in mind, while it's a digital transformation and digital technologies do play a huge role, it's not just about technology. It is about customer experience, and that's the biggest thing. The second is a lot of companies think that digital transformation is only for large organizations. The reality is it's for each organization. Any organization would have customers, whether B2B, whether B2C, whether B2B2C, or any other. So the second thing companies need to take into consideration is that don't think that digital transformation is only for large organizations, but it's for any organization which has any customer. Customer could be internal, external, preferably external customers, and that's what it is. The third is, again, as I said earlier, it's not just about technology, but one thing which plays a huge role in the success of any digital transformation is change management. Sudeep alluded to it very well, where he spoke about data-driven culture. So I think while you're doing any activity related to digital transformation, people need to keep in mind that it's not an IT project. It's a business project. It's for business. And over there, change management has to play a huge role where you change the culture, mindset of the organization and make it into a real data-driven organization. The fourth I'll say is that one of the key things, and I think Dr. Guru Prasad spoke about it also somewhere, or you spoke about it, which is we need to experiment a lot, but fail fast, fail cheap. So many of these technologies are evolving, and as you really put in some of these technologies, you have to redo a lot of stuff. But what there one needs to keep in mind is that in the organization, bring in a culture where you actually fail fast, fail cheap. You are doing prototyping in 3D printing. So the aim over there again is that can I do all these experiments and various types of prototypes much faster, much cheaper. So that culture has to bring in. The fifth one is one of the reasons why digital transformation actually fails or doesn't give that kind of outcome in any organization is agility, which is basically this amount of bureaucracy within the organization. You take too much time to take decisions, to move forward. So agility plays a key role in this entire thing. So these are the five. But last, I'll still add one more, which is a lot of companies who want to go in digital transformation roadmap. What they do is they just look at their competitors as to what my competitors have done, how they have done, which technologies they have put in. And 99%, I'll just call the same vendor and say that, can you do this for me? But the reality is each organization has a different culture. Each organization has a different business strategy, this different environment or ecosystem in which you are operating. So just don't copy what has been done for any other organization. Start with your own business strategy, business culture, and then see what I can do, how technology can really help improve my own customer experience. So that's what I'll say, Vinit. Back to you.
Thanks, Vijay. I think very nicely said. So if I have to summarize all the five things, first is the customer experience, right? That's a key to it. Second, you talked about more of it is not for big company or small, it's for everyone, right? None of us has choice. I know we talked about it earlier. Change management is key. I think it is one of my favorite topic. I will tell you the best of the company can fail if there is no culture transformation strategy, right?
You're right.
Focus a lot. I have a culture transformation leader in my company to drive this. So the focus is a lot on that. And the next one is experimenting a lot, or the proof of concept, or the fails fast culture, right? Or the agile mindset. I think this is very, very important. I totally agree. I think these are the things which help you drive this entire behavior change. And let's celebrate the failures also, because there are a lot of learning from failure, right? Let's not crucify somebody if somebody has failed, but only thing we have to make sure the person is not trying to repeat the same thing and trying the same thing again. And so learning from the past is the important thing. And I think finally on the agility and business or the business buy-in. I think business buy-in, the one of the key and the most important thing. So I see and I listen to a lot of peers and I talk to a lot of my friends in industry. What I realize is that everyone wants to get into bandwagon of digital, right? And they want to think, okay, digital is same thing as an IT. You just change the name of it and it will still remain same. So I think it's very important for people to get that understanding, get the business buy-in first, have the leadership be aware of it. They become your sponsor, because if they are the sponsor, it will be done. I think that's a key thing, right? So I totally agree. And the benchmark is one of my favorite thing. I talk about it many times. So a lot of people always believe, okay, so you are trying to do this. Can you bring a reference about it, right? If you are going to bring the reference, then there will be no innovation in the world.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why this technologies like 3D printing have come out, and there are many things like this, right? Where you have to fail fast, right? You have to try something, and if it fails, don't go for a project for 6 months or 9 months and then say, okay, sorry, it didn't work. Just go for a 2 weeks process where you actually try to do a small part of it, which may be the critical part of the entire value chain. And if it works, just go ahead and make it in a big way. I think very, very nicely put. Love the thought here. I'm sure a lot of learning for all of us here. Coming to you, Dr. Guru Prasad, I think again I will talk more on the 3D printing because of your expertise. But I would like to hear some thoughts from you. 3D printing in Industry 4.0. How exactly people are going to use it? And I'm sure this is a topic of interest of a lot of people, because not a lot of information is available on this.
Thank you, Vinit. Very nice discussions all round. And I think Industry 4.0, as rightly put by Sethi sir, it is inevitable to any size. Size doesn't matter. So if you take Imaginarium, we have been working on a cloud factory for some time. Way back in 1718. You know, and in fact, I presented a paper also in IISc on this. And luckily, when the crisis struck the whole world, we were the one of the shops available for people to latch onto. Be it making emergency hardware for medical or anything. People were able to reach out to us thanks to the so-called cloud factory which was there. And if I see IoT, IIoT, and IOMT role in 3D printing per se, the control of these, without the need for a person, could be made possible with this magic of IoT embedded into the system, right? So we can have a mission-to-mission communication, M2M communication is possible. And I can sit in the luxury of my home and see the dashboard of what is going on. I can do a capacity analysis, that kind of thing is possible if you are able to individually ping. I know exactly when something is going to need a material, so when something needs an ejection or something is going critical, and so I need to deploy someone to go there and change over. All these things can be done thanks to the IoT and 3D printing coming closer, giving us this. So I think this is a part of Industry 4.0, industrial Internet of Industrial Things. And in medical also, people are doing remote monitoring. And again, crisis situation has put many things, fast forward, like telemedicine, for example. People are able to increasingly customize things. And this is also possible because of 3D printing, which is again a part of Industry 4.0. Meaning, you are able to use the ICT and leverage, like your, you can extend your hands, not across the table, but across the continents, for help, be it an expert surgeon or a clinician diagnosing something. I think this is all enabled by, again, very nicely put, all technologies are coming closer in order to deliver this. And you may not, there is a lot of talk about the so-called digital twin. The digital twin, people have a physical system and a digital system, which are, it's like a simulation in tandem going on in real time, right? And you're able to anticipate the failures or the requirement for a change. Or, all such things are monitored, but it is never happens in a physical system wherein a failure happens and you have to go to that, failure in order to learn about, and so many times it is very difficult. If I put a transducer there, it also loads, like you have a cell and it has got a internal resistance for a cell, something like that. So never a digital twin is a true digital, equivalent. So what technology of 3D printing is doing is they're able to embed the so-called transducers while you're making the parts. The part comes with no extra hardware, you know. It has got a conductive track inside, because in 3D printing, you print layer upon layer. At every layer, at every pixel or voxel level, I can control the property. And that's where, material which are conductive, or, drawn inside, that is going to give you a inductive load or a capacitive load or whatnot, it is able to transmit the properties, the strain gauges which are embedded within, are able to transmit the true state of the part, just imagine the possibility of now enabling the digital twin, which is not just a simulation, but real thing which is measured. So I think that's one more thing which is going to really make it very, very interesting. And the traceability of parts and all, with blockchain and all, we want to have beyond version control. We want to check, at a part level, item level, you know. And today with 3D printing, we are able to embed a lot of electronics within RFIDs, or it could be even QR codes, which are only UV light readable, it gives you so much of a muscle to, in order to, get what you want. So tracking becomes very important, whether it is a asset, a large asset, or it's a small one, or you want to just trace the life cycle of the whole thing, a cradle to grave to cradle, things like that, which are going to be a very important part of the PLM, which is also a very important enabler in the industry 4.0. I say that's why 3D printer becomes a very important actor in the whole scheme of industry 4.0, and I think we are in a wonderful time, to have all this technology enablements. Thank you, Vinith. Back to you.
Great, Dr. Ruprashad. So, if I have to just add one more thought, which I believe is changing a lot, is the uh, while not all technologies are also coming together, people are experimenting a lot on those technologies also, open to lot, right? With as Vijay was telling you, the compute power, right, and storage both has become so cheap that these things are doesn't matter at all, and people can try new things. Great. I think I totally agree on the digital twin. A lot of people are trying, making new parts and all that. And everyone is thinking like this, like a Lego block, right? If there are things which they already have and new things, they can try it out. So either use immersive 3D printing or other things and just put it there and see how it impacts the entire ecosystem. Great. So, Sudeep, let me come to you. I want to know the status of digital transformation in the transportation industry. Throw some light on that.
Sure, Vinit. Thanks a lot. So, as I earlier talked about, right? So we have created a lot of digital, solutions for our customers, and that way speaking, railroad transportation industry is quite unique in the sense that it is one of the more cleaner, more fuel efficient compared to the trucking industry, as well as it is more safer as well. So we are seeing that it is almost like 20 times less prone to injuries compared to the trucking industry, and it is also like 5 times lesser carbon emissions because of the inherent fuel efficiency. So I think we have created a lot of digital transformation within the industry. So as I talked about through the IoT platform and other suite of products, which are like clearly mentioned in our website, webtechcorp.com. Anybody interested can go there and see the suite of digital products that we have created for our problem solving solutions for our customers. But at the same time, the digital transformation is also taking place in the way we design products, like as Dr. Guru Prasad earlier indicated. So additive manufacturing is a part making process where the raw material is transformed layer by layer into a part. By this process, we can achieve high complexity parts easily. So the raw material could be in the form of powder or in the form of filaments. But what is more important is that we also said that this was earlier called as rapid prototyping in the 1980s and probably 90s, and people were using it. But what has transformed this revolution in the recent years is the digital electronics that is enabling this 3D printing platform. So there are more electronics and more data driven process control that is happening at additive manufacturing 3D printer level, right? So that is what is giving a better process control, and uh, it is inherently like I would say fixture free. The historically, if you look at it, the manufacturing platforms used to be like consisting of multiple machines, like drilling machine, then you would have a milling machine, vertical milling machine, and then broaching, whatever. So there used to be like you need to have at least probably 20 different machines to make one product. Now with this digital transformation in the additive manufacturing taking place, it is with the better high quality process control taking place, the entire factory floor is kind of getting transformed, right? So we are talking about brilliant factories, data driven factories, wherein you have a better control on the process as well as more efficient way of manufacturing. Inherently additive manufacturing is also a more greener way of doing it because there is like a less wastage. So these are some of the like the transformation that is taking place. And not to mention that so previously we used to have drawings, right? So we used to have paper based drawings, so we have moved away. So the like the digital transformation in the way people design products has already taken place. I think a decade back or two, we were talking about e-bombs and e-drawings, whatnot. So that is continuing, but at the same time, in terms of manufacturing, through this digital transformation, through additive manufacturing, we are seeing a I would say a bigger industrial revolution that is taking place. So that way, I feel that we are lucky to be witnessing this the industrial revolution taking place in this industry.
Great. I think great thought, Sudeep. I know we are almost on time, so why don't we do this? We will go like one by one, starting from Vijay, then Dr. Prasad, and then Sudeep, and give your concluding thoughts uh, on the discussion today.
Sure. Thanks, Vinit. I think great discussions. From a digital transformation perspective, I'll just say that it's not a fad. It's not kind of flavor of the season or flavor of the month, but it is something which is here to stay. It is necessary for the organization and for the survival of the organization, and then of course the growth of the organizations. And it has to be an integral part of the business strategy of the organization. It can't be just a standalone thing. The digital transformation, entire roadmap, and the journey, where customer has to be at the middle of anything and everything that the digital transformation has to do or business strategy has to do. And change management, as we discussed, has to play a huge role, data-driven culture and other aspects. And finally, the last point I'll say is that from a digital transformation, it's not something which is a destination for any organization, but it's a journey which goes on. The technology keeps on evolving, the customer needs keep on evolving, business strategy needs on keeps on evolving. So we need to continue on this journey and can't say on a particular date that yes, I am fully digitally transformed. So there's no nirvana out here, if I can use that word.
Guru Prasad?
I quite agree with him. It's a continuous journey, excellence, path to excellence. And I think the beauty of additive manufacturing and IoT is the extreme agility with which the technology is able to address. The change management needs quick changes. It is also about the mindsets, and people are able to do it quickly. You just doodle it and do it on the computer, and now you give it a robot. It will take care. There is no skilling required. There is a de-skilling of so-called making is happening. You know, as long as somebody is going to get a digital entity that can be translated into a physical part, you know, and Industry 4.0, which is looking at the cyber physical system, this brings the physical side of it, and that's where I think it is a really exciting time, and we can only apply and reapply to know where and all it can actually add value. And I think it is making deep inroads, be it medical, industry, vehicle. E-vehicle has a lot of role it is going to play. And people have to unlearn and relearn the new way of harnessing the beauty of this technology. The 100 years of thinking inertia, has made us think about constraints. Now it's time to think about freedom to design anything. The complexity, is possible to make. Why not use it? You know, that's my take on this. Thank you.
Great. So the
Yeah. See, I think the digital transformation is essential for the industry. And we are driving like a lot of autonomous solutions, but at the same time, data-driven solutions for our customers. But I think the important aspect is the people. So, as Vijay Sethi sir earlier mentioned, it's the cultural transformation, and the culture transformation can happen only through the people. So, however, whatever level of automation, autonomous solutions you have in the industry, but I think the people and their mindset is very important for the digital transformation to continuously take place, and for the even the customers to take a complete advantage of the systems. Thank you, Vinay.
great. I think great thoughts from all of you. I think really loved the discussion here. As I started and said that while this will not cover the entire aspect of it, but it will definitely be a teaser for all of you to explore more. Right? There are a lot of things. A couple of thoughts from my side. What I believe is there are two things which I have observed a lot. Innovation come from different industries. So if you are in an industry A and you think that you will be only getting ideas from industry A, rethink yourself and just go to other industry. And many times I get ideas from different industry, right? And so lot of companies you must be seeing right now hiring people from a different industry from that they were, but it was not used to happen when they were hiring a CIO because they wanted somebody who already understands the business, right? So this is one difference which I have seen. Second thing is this the entire term. So we talked about two things together, right? IoT and 3D printing or additive man. There are many other things, but everything comes together and help each other in the entire industry 4.0, and that's accelerating. So lovely session. Thanks a lot for all of your time today. Lot of learning, and as I say, it was a teaser for everyone. I think we have shared the details of, and they can connect with all of you over LinkedIn, and any questions if they have, they can. But let me see if there are few questions which are currently posted? If so, we will just quickly take it.
Thank you, Mr. Vineet.
Good. I don't see any questions. So I think I think the team was completely clear about what they were talking. But thank you, everyone. Again, have a great day ahead and a lot of learning in future.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vineet.
Thank you, Vineet.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Stay
other
safe.
experts in the panel.
Thanks, Dr. Guru. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.